Okay, so let's assume that I've come to work, I've clocked in, I've logged into GroundPad, and I'm now ready to increment my trip for the day. Okay, so the first thing I gotta do is I gotta go to the Jobs tab. As you'll notice here, there's nothing left in the future. I have to switch to the Current tab to the left here along the bottom and switch to that, and then I'll find that trip that I'm actually going to be doing today. So what I'll do is I'll now open that trip. Okay. Now, if there were any red boxes along the top that said stops or instructions, I would have to actually touch those first to make this en route button work. But seeing there are none, it's live. But most likely there'll be some stops or instructions you would have to touch first. That'd be along the top of the page here. You open those up, then you can increment the trip. Okay. So I'm ready to get started. So when I leave the spot where my vehicle is first parked, if this is the first trip I'm doing for the day, that's when I would mark en route. If I just finished a trip and I'm at a client location, but I'm now going to be directly going to my next trip for the day, I would click en route then. So you click en route as soon as you move the bus in the direction going toward the trip. So I'm going to touch en route. Okay. I am now listed en route. Dispatch believes I'm en route. I'm looking at a button that says on location, but that is the next step in the process. If I touch done in the top right, I can notice that if I look in the upper left hand corner near the red block, I'll see that it's showing that I'm en route. So that's the status that I am actually in. But when you open the trip, the button is always showing the next status that you're about to use. Okay, so now once I arrive on location, I will touch on location. Again, it's showing the next status, but if I click done, you'll see it's listing me here in the top left as on location. Okay, now when I get my passengers, or when my shuttle begins, I touch POB, standing for passengers on board. Again, if I click done, you'll notice that it's showing in green that I've got passengers on board. Now this is the status that you're going to leave it in for the entire length of your shuttle, if that's what you're doing, or for the entire time that you have passengers until the trip is officially over. Meaning that they could be getting on and off your bus, and if it's a charter, possibly even over a matter of a couple of days. But until the charter is completely over, you leave it passengers on board. Let's open the trip. Now we're going to make an assumption that this trip is over. Watch carefully as I complete the last few steps to close out this trip so that I can open up my next trip if I have one. Okay, so this is when I'm done with the client. The client's out of the picture. I'm going to touch NDO here in the middle. I'm going to immediately touch over right there in the middle. Okay, I'm going to hit submit in the top right hand corner. I'm going to actually hit submit again in the top right hand corner. I'm now going to hit next in the top right hand corner. And because there's most likely not going to be a client involved, if a client did want to sign something, they could sign this green box right now. Okay. If there's no client involved that wants to sign, you still got to get past this page. You just touch the green box. Now the I agree with the charges on the bottom left works. You touch that. Now the job is totally completed, and it's ready for you to do your next trip. I can hit done. You're going to notice it left current tab. If I needed to look at this trip again, I would find it in the completed tab. And that's how you increment a trip.